Let's talk about Apple, one of the most valuable companies out there. Expectations were unbelievably high for Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference yesterday. From rumors about Siri and ChatGPT to concerns about whether consumers would actually want to upgrade their iPhones.
That's the key, isn't it? And of course, Apple's integration of artificial intelligence announced by Tim Cook.
Recent developments in generative intelligence and large language models offer powerful capabilities that provide the opportunity to take the experience of using Apple products to new heights. So as we look to build in these incredible new capabilities, we want to ensure that the outcome reflects the principles at the core of our products. All of this goes beyond artificial intelligence. It's personal intelligence.
Here to break down everything we learned at the event is Abrar Al-Hiti, technology reporter at CNET. Nice to see you this morning. So, Apple Intelligence, what have we learned? What was the biggest announcement that Tim Cook and company unveiled?
Yeah, everyone was kind of anticipating what Apple would do with AI because it's kind of had to play a game of catch up with a lot of other companies like OpenAI and Microsoft and Google. Really, the idea here is to bake it into things that you already do, apps that you already use. So think of things like prioritizing your notifications or helping you compose messages or generating images that aren't really meant to look realistic, but are supposed to be fun and things that you can send. Genmoji, also emoji that are used with, that are created with generative AI. So really the idea here is to make it feel like you don't have to think about the fact that AI is running in the background of a lot of these apps and platforms. And what Apple was really pushing is this idea of this is AI for, all of us, for everybody, regardless of whether you're super into AI or super into tech.
How useful do you think these upgrades with intelligence are for users?
I think one of the biggest, most useful updates will be to Siri, for example. So Siri getting a little bit more conversational. I think Siri is something that people already use a lot, and being able to speak with it more conversationally, get more kind of context awareness, and be able to still get answers even if you stumble upon what you're asking. It can kind of do a better job understanding everything. But also, this integration with ChatGPT is interesting because if it's already baked into your iPhone, and you can ask for things like recipes or decorating ideas and send a picture, then maybe it'll make it more accessible to people who haven't really dabbled in things like ChatGPT or generative AI in general.
It's always interesting to watch investor reaction to these things because stock closed down about 2% today and went down as the presentation went on. And then we look at it this morning and Apple is up more than 3%, approaching 3.5%. So the question ultimately is this enough to get people to upgrade their iPhones? What do you think?
That's really the question. There's still a lot of unknown. And it seems like Apple is going to do its best to push things like, promoting privacy. That's a really big question people talk about AI. So if Apple can sell you and say, hey, if you have these AI features on your brand new iPhone, you can be rest assured that your data is going to stay private. So really what we're going to have to wait and see is what will Apple unveil in September? Rumors are there's going to be, the next iPhone. Will that be enough to convince people? And really time will tell.
And these features that were unveiled yesterday, it would appear that you need at least an iPhone 15 or higher. Is that correct? Most people, I think, have 12, 13, maybe a 14 at best.
That's exactly right. iPhone 15 Pro is what you'll need at a minimum. I was just thinking about the fact I have my iPhone 14 Pro, which will not be compatible with these features. And it's kind of humbling to think that, okay, well, my phone's getting old now. It's been about 2 years. That's the timeline these days, right? But Apple's really been pushing to diversify what it can offer because, iPhone sales tend to be stagnant in the last few years and because people try to hold on to their devices. That's across the board with smartphones. So what Apple tries to do and what every company tries to do is convince you to use its other products and platforms and maybe push you with something like this to consider getting a new iPhone too.
We saw Elon Musk take a hit at Apple, an attempted hit, we'll call it, saying that due to privacy concerns, Tesla employees or those that work for him may not be able to use iPhones. Do you think that there's weight to that comment from Musk?
Yeah, that's something that I think a lot of experts are kind of approaching with caution because the focus here with these AI announcements that Apple has been emphasizing is a lot of these functions will be carried out on device. Some of them will be sent off device, but that will all be, according to Apple, very secure, very private. And so, Elon Musk says a lot of things, and so sometimes you have to take a minute and see how much validity there is to that.
Can you talk more about, though, the privacy baked in so customers get more information about how their data could potentially be used?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for the more simple commands that use AI, a lot of that will be processed on your phone. So nothing is sent anywhere, and that's really the highest level of assurance that you can have that your data, your information is private. For anything that's more kind of complex and more complex task, will be sent to what Apple calls a private cloud compute, and that is just a very secure way to kind of send something off device, get that process, and then back onto your device. And that's really privacy and security is Apple's bread and butter and how it really tries to separate itself from a lot of competitors.
I have a 12-year-old at home that was very excited about a emoji upgrade that allows you to, I believe, personalize emojis, but maybe you can elaborate on that and what else iOS 18 allows users to do.
Genmoji. It's a very fun, catchy word with very fun, catchy tasks. You can essentially create a custom emoji. So, for example, if you want to make a DJing squirrel, or whatever whatever suits your fancy, right? So that's a pretty cool, fun feature. Some other things that you can do. Messaging has some cool updates. Being able to schedule text, also being able to send messages via satellite if you don't have cellular service or Wi-Fi is pretty cool. This was previously only available if there was an emergency, but now you can send anyone, not just emergency responders, a text via satellite. Another cool feature is being able to customize your home screen. That's something you've been able to do on Android for a very long time, but now you can do it on iPhone, and that personalization can be something that's really exciting. It's kind of brushed over, but it's something that a lot of users really care about.
Briar, this is set to launch in beta come this fall. So anyone who has a device with the M1 chip, some of the newer iPads, Macs, and then that iPhone 15, will they all be able to take advantage of the beta version?
Yes, you should be able to have access to that, and then it'll open to the general public in the fall as well.
Do you anticipate that there will be a prompt to opt out of having your data shared or stored if you do use these generative AI features?
I would imagine that that's pretty critical given a lot of the hesitation, understandably, towards these kinds of features. And so I think it would be, kind of crucial to have that capability so people can feel a little bit more comfortable. Maybe you want to buy an iPhone 16 when it comes out, but you don't really want to opt into all this AI stuff.
That was clearly the lead, Apple Intelligence. What, if anything else, do you expect this week as the conference rolls on?
Yeah, I think we'll see more. Vision Pro was kind of overlooked. It's funny, last year that was the big news for WWDC, but there's some slight updates there with things like spatial photos and videos, and so I think potentially some more updates about that. We're going to keep getting updates from Apple throughout the week. They're going to share more as the months go on and as we approach the fall. So across their various devices and platforms.
Interesting. So, do you think it will drive users to buy other Apple devices? We've been talking a lot about the iPhone, and it is Apple's most important product, at least historically has been. But of course, the Mac and the iPad do account for sales as well.
Yeah, absolutely. What Apple does best is the ecosystem, right? The integration. So if all your platforms work really well together and they have this AI integration all together as well, Apple is really going to lean into that. That's across the board with iPads and Macs and even your Vision Pro. Once we finally find out how that can interact with your iPhone, we don't have a lot of information about that either. But even slight updates to things like AirPods, removing background noise during calls, those things can kind of draw people in and think, okay, these are minor upgrades that will make my life a lot easier and connect with all my devices and really suck me into that Apple ecosystem.
I can't help but wonder, did you see the part where they talked about the iPhone, the AirPods, and if you nod your head yes or no, it would answer a call? And my first reaction was, and I'm not saying I'd ever react this way if I didn't want to talk to my wife, but I might go, oh, and it might think I said yes. Did you see that? Is that part of the automatic upgrade?
I did see that. Yeah, that's kind of one of the upgrades with the AirPods Pro and with that integration with Siri. And I think that's so funny because I didn't think about that. Imagine if you're on a really frustrating call or something and you're just like, oh my gosh,
Or you
and then
get
it does
bad
something.
news.
That,
Yeah.
We're going to have to test that out. Yeah,
Gonna have to get smarter and read our emotions as well.
exactly. Maybe AI can help. Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
Great segment, Abrar Al-Hidi, consumer tech and mobile reporter at CNET. Thank you.